you don't earn vacation time by working. You earn work time by taking vacation. That if you're not taking vacation, you're not worth much in the office. Like the vacation is what makes us good at what we're doing. We need that time off to rejuvenate, to have the creativity, to be able to come back and be fully engaged when we're in the office.
Live like a CEO.
Welcome to our another episode of Live Like a CEO. You already know that in this podcast, we invite CEOs and C-suite executives to talk about their personal life, their business life, and our audiences, they learn very important lessons, especially those who want to start their own business, those who are entrepreneurs. So without further delay, let me invite our today's guest, Brad Farris. He is a business coach. So I think he is the best possible guest for this show, as our target audiences are young entrepreneurs who are going to be, entrepreneur, or who are probably already entrepreneur. So Brad, welcome to this podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you very much for joining. So, let me read it from your website. It said, Principal Advisor Brad Farris is an engineer turned leadership coach who specializes in helping creative agency owners unleash growth. So can you please describe who is your ideal client and what service you provide, how long it takes, what kind of like a price range, and how to reach out to you?
Yeah. So I coach emerging business owners. So people who are sort of in that million to 10 million range in terms of revenues. And for those folks, they often find themselves at a juncture where they need to level up their leadership, where their business or the environment that they're in or their team is asking more from them. And so that's a time when I can come in and help them to learn to lead at a higher level. A lot of what keeps us from leading effectively actually comes from inside us. And so we help to resolve some of those things that are inside us so that we can be more effective outside of us. The best way to find me is at anchoradvisors.com.
Okay. Yeah. And dear audience, we are going to put Brad's all information, his name, phone number, email address, website, LinkedIn profile, everything on the screen so that you can directly reach out to him if you need corporate coaching kind of things from them. So Brad, now we are going to talk about, not a lot of people, they are entrepreneurs. A lot of people, they're scared to be entrepreneurs. So what do you think, what made you entrepreneur? And in your opinion, who should go for entrepreneurship?
So I started my business at a young age. I was 33 when I went out on my own. And it was kind of scary. And I had had enough of working for other people. Like there was a constraint that I felt about working in someone else's business. And I'm not proud of this, but I'm going to say that most entrepreneurs, there's a little bit of arrogance. Like, I can do this better. I see a way to do something that other people don't see. And so the thing that's interesting is from the outside, it seems really risky, but from the inside of the entrepreneur's mind, like they can see this way that they're going to do things better, that they have a better idea. And so it doesn't always feel as risky to them. I mean, certainly the idea of like, I have to procure my own health insurance and I don't know how I'm getting paid and those kind of things feel risky, but it almost feels, for most people, it almost feels inevitable. Like this is just the thing I have to do.
Yeah. So you said, you started at the age of 33. So I assume you worked before that. So you kind of saw both worlds, like,
Yes.
working for others world and, you being the boss.
Yes.
So what are the good and bad things, like in pros and cons of, both sides?
So a high value for many entrepreneurs is freedom. Mm-hmm. And when you're working for someone else, depending on even in a great situation, like I was in a really great situation. I worked for a billionaire. He was buying businesses. He let me run those businesses for him. So I had a really good like on ramp to what it meant to run a business. But even then, he would say no to me. There were things that I would want to do that he didn't see the return in, or he didn't see that like it was going in the right direction. And so in a good situation, when you're working for someone else, you're learning a lot. There's a lot of opportunity for gaining experience. And hopefully the thing about entrepreneurship is you need to know a little bit about everything. And so if you're working for someone else, how do you get that opportunity where you're getting some insight into how the accounting works? You're getting an insight into how marketing and sales works, or how the product works if you're on the marketing and sales side. And so working for someone else is a great way to get some training. And like you said, there's some security in it, but there's not the same upside that there is for working for yourself. And what I found was, although I got really motivated to climb the corporate ladder, like there was a lot of intrinsic value to me in the accolades that I could get from other people. When I got out and was doing it for myself, there was a lot more of that intrinsic reward, feeling like I was testing myself and learning whether I had what it took to win at this game.
Awesome. So, a lot of entrepreneurs, they would like their children to, start business early. Like some of them, they told me that as early as like a middle school. So do you like this idea? And if you do, like how early a kid should start like LLC or, selling something, doing some sort of business?
So it's interesting. There's a research study that I saw a few years ago that said that the thing that is most highly correlated with entrepreneurial success is having a business, a parent who also owned a business. Okay. And in my case, my mother was a fashion consultant. My father was a consultant with a big 5 firm, but he made a run at a startup when I was in high school. And so I watched them go through their own entrepreneurial processes. And I felt like that was really good education for me. I do think that it's great to encourage kids to try some things and to learn a little bit about making their own money. My father gave us some money to invest in stocks when we were probably, I don't know, 5th or 6th grade, pretty young. I had a paper route, and yeah, you could say a paper route was a job, but in those days, I bought the papers from the company, and then I went and collected money from the subscribers. So I had to learn about collecting money and the difference between what you buy and what you sell. And having any kind of sales thing, like my son is in a Boy Scout troop, and they raise their money by selling wreaths, holiday wreaths. And so something where you go out and sell and get an opportunity to get out on the street and talk to some people, I think those are all valuable experiences.
Perfect. And very important thing, like if the parents are entrepreneurs, then more likely the kids will be entrepreneurs. So yes. Parents, if you really want your kids to be entrepreneur, that's right. You should start being entrepreneur.
It normalizes it, right? It makes it seem like something that real people do, not just people that are far away, right? And so you get to see what it's actually like to run your own business.
Yeah, that's very true. So going back to your business, you coaches, you provide a coach to entrepreneurs. So do you have your very own method of knowing what your clients actually want from you? Like how do you get like an honest feedback from your clients?
So I have a process that I go through even before we start working together, where we create the ideal future for them. So what would it be like for you to be successful at this? And then I create as rich a picture as I can about what that future success looks like. We really want to anchor ourselves in the idea that we are going to succeed, that this is a possibility. Many times we see people that are anchored in the fear. What if I fail, right? But if we spend as much time thinking about what if we succeed, we would be in a much better place, right? So we start there. What would it look like to succeed? And then I ask people a simple question: how are you going to get in your own way? Like, if you don't get there, how is it that you caused that failure? And everybody knows right away. They'd be like, "Oh, well, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this," and so right away they're telling me these are the things that we need to overcome in order to get to this place. And so that's the initial conversation.
Awesome. And, even though you provide, you do your best, but sometimes I'm pretty sure some of your clients, they're not very happy with you. So if they're not happy with you, how do you manage that situation?
One of the great things about working for myself is that I can give stuff away. And so, I don't usually wait for someone to be upset with me. If I feel like a coaching session didn't go well, I'll often email back the next day and say, hey, I didn't feel great about that session. I'm going to give you another one. Let's just schedule another one, a do-over, essentially. And oftentimes clients will be like, it was fine. It was good. I'm like, no, I'm going to give you a do-over anyway. Let's go for it. And so having ways in which you can preempt that kind of disappointment or disconnection is really helpful. The other thing is just to keep in close contact. Like, I don't want to go more than a week or so without touching base with somebody and just seeing how they're going. And so early detection, again, helps you to head those things off before they turn into something big.
Yeah, very powerful. Thank you. Brad, it is really nice talking to you. We'll talk more about your personal life and other things. But before that, we are going to take a very short break. Please stay with us.
Live like a CEO.
Starting a podcast or looking to make yours more powerful? Make sure it's heard, not lost in the noise. Managing recording, editing, publishing, and promotion can be overwhelming. That's where Kulna Technologies' 360-degree podcast service comes in. We handle everything from recording to producing to publishing, so your podcast always sounds top tier. You focus on the message, while we repurpose, stream, and promote it across every platform. Want a true 360-degree podcast service without the tech stress? Launch your podcast with Kulna Tech today and let your voice reach the world.
Live like a CEO.
Welcome back. We were talking with Brad Farris. He is a principal advisor in his business. He's a CEO, and he's originally an engineer and then turned into a business coach. They help business executives, learn insights about business. We already talked about that. You can, listen to again from the beginning. But Brad, now I'm going to talk about your personal life.
Sure.
Do you have any hobby, like a very personal hobby that really helps in your business life?
So I have 5 kids. So one hobby is raising kids. But at this point, most of them are out of the house. I'm down to just one who's left in the house. And I love to be outside. I love to be in wild places. And when I'm in wild places, I very much like to look for the wildlife, do some wildlife photography, bird watching, fishing, those types of things.
Perfect. And that helps you in your business, right?
One of the things that I talk to clients about is that you don't earn vacation time by working. You earn work time by taking vacation. That if you're not taking vacation, you're not worth much in the office. Like, the vacation is what makes us good at what we're doing. We need that time off to rejuvenate, to have the creativity, to be able to come back and be fully engaged when we're in the office.
Yeah, very powerful. Thank you. So what is the very first thing you do early in the morning?
I work out. One of the things that I found is that if I go to the gym first thing in the morning, the whole rest of the day is better. I don't know why that is, but I had a shoulder injury last year, and when I wasn't able to go to the gym, I noticed that my mental health and my physical health were both going in the wrong direction. So going to the gym is really important to me first thing in the morning.
Perfect. And the very last thing you do before you go to bed?
Read. I'm a big reader. And it helps me to get a better night's sleep if I spend 20 or 30 minutes reading before bed.
Perfect. And in business world, there's 2 kinds of people. One, they call it work-life balance. They kind of try to keep it separate. And also one group of people, they call it work-life harmony. They kind of mix and match. So which group you belong and why?
Yeah, I don't believe in work-life balance. I don't think that's a thing. We only have one life. It's not like we have a work life and a home life. And so I want to live my life in such a way that I'm fully engaged for every hour of the day. That whether I'm at home or whether I'm at work or whether I'm out in the woods, that I'm able to be fully engaged in whatever's going on there. That's what's going to create a full and rich life.
Perfect. And have you learned anything in your business life, business work, that you successfully applied in your personal life?
The thing that comes to mind, I guess there's 2. The first thing that comes to mind is listening. Because of the work that I do, I really need to pay attention to listening and being a really good listener. And embarrassingly, I wasn't always a good listener at home. I wasn't always good at listening to my kids. I wasn't always good at listening to my spouse. And I think that that's a skill that I learned on the job that has really paid dividends at home. I would say the other thing is, in order to get things done, I do time blocking where every hour of the day, I write in what I'm going to be doing in that hour. And that helps me to be really intentional about that time. And if I'm ever at a point where I'm like, oh, what am I supposed to be doing? I can look at that and know exactly what I should be doing at that hour. And the reason that has helped is that I can also be that intentional about my not work time. Like, I'm here. Well, why am I sitting around the living room? I'm here so I can connect with and listen to my family. Why am I out with this friend? Well, I'm out with this friend because I want some variety and excitement and fun. And so coming in with a really strong intention to each of those activities helps me to be fully focused and engaged when I'm in those things.
Thank you. And the opposite question, like, have you learned anything from your home that you successfully applied in your business?
I have a friend who's also a business coach, and she and I joke that almost everything that we learned about business, we learned first as parents. Like the way that we parent our children, and I don't mean this to be to diminish the adultness that my coworkers have, but managing people is very much like managing toddlers. Like you're clear, you set expectations, you don't tolerate acting out. You know, there are a lot of skills that come from parenting that are really helpful as a manager.
Perfect. So, we are kind of at the end of the podcast. My last question to you: can you give like 3 tips for young entrepreneurs about being entrepreneur?
The first thing is, when I was young, I really wanted everything to happen right now. I wanted to be successful right now. I didn't want things to take a long time. That led me to work a lot more hours than was probably good for me. And I think that my clients and coworkers felt me pressing and sort of trying to control outcomes sometimes. And the perspective that I have from this juncture is that life is long and that you don't have to have it all at once. In fact, one of the things that I say to clients a lot these days is there's a way to accomplish your goals that is slow and relaxed and easy. It doesn't have to be hard all the time. So that would be number 1. Number 2, I think, is that you don't have to do it all yourself. That it is okay to ask for help. And in fact, it's smart to ask for help. There are things that you are really good at doing and other things that you're not good at doing. Get someone to help you with the things you're not good at. And for most of my clients, right off the top, I say bookkeeping. Like, why are you entering anything into QuickBooks? This is not your zone of genius. This is not something that gives you life. There are people who actually enjoy doing that. Let them do that for you. What would be the third? I think the third would be about money. Maybe this is different internationally, but I'm going to say Americans particularly have a lot of baggage about money. Money starts meaning things to us. Not having money means something about us. Having too much money means something about us. What is too much money? What's a lot of money? Like there are a lot of things about money that are sort of that's come through osmosis, that we haven't really thought about how we feel about money. And as we start to run our own business, money's a part of it. We're asking people for money. We're paying people money. And unless you come to terms with all those thoughts and feelings that you have about money, they kind of drive your decisions, and not always in a good way. So have someone that you can talk to about money.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing those insights. Brad, it is really nice talking to you, and hopefully we'll talk more in some other day. But thank you very much for joining today.
It's great to talk with you.
Thank you. You have a wonderful day.
You too.
Live like a CEO.